Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would film my anxiety update as quite a lot of you have been wondering how I'm getting on and stuff like that. If you haven't already, go and check out my first anxiety video that I did, was it last month or something like that? I will leave it linked down below anyway for you guys to check it out if you haven't seen it already. Just basically explains about myself and what I've been through and things like that. So let's just get on with the video. Right, so where do I begin? Okay, so I thought I would begin by saying that I have a panic disorder and generalised anxiety disorder. Panic disorder is where I would regularly have sudden attacks of panic or fear. It can happen at any time, any place, anywhere basically, out of the blue. Like sometimes I wouldn't even know what brought it on. So it's just where I'd feel really, like if you've ever had a panic attack, you know how it feels. But I would have a racing heartbeat, felt faint, go dizzy, feeling sick, everything like that, just wanting to get out of wherever I am. But it can be scary, like it can feel like you're gonna die or something. It's not very good especially when I have been driving and I've experienced this. It's not good at all, obviously. So yeah, that's just a brief information about panic disorder and sorry, I'm just looking it up on my phone, sorry. Okay, so generalised anxiety disorder is feeling uneasy with worry and fear. People like myself do find it difficult to control like my worries and thoughts and things like that. Yeah, basically most days I would have this. To be honest, I still am. I can never get rid of this. This is who I am at the end of the day. So I just gotta like cope with it. But I have had help these past 6 weeks by Healthy Minds. If any of you have heard them, they are amazing. Can I just say, I didn't think they would be at first, but I'll get onto that a bit later on. But yeah, basically I've been having sessions of cognitive behavioural therapy, CBT, which trains your brain a little bit, like to think differently. When thoughts come in, you've got to send them away, which I'm still practicing at the moment. I am kind of experienced in it because, well, I wouldn't say experienced, I know of it because I've had CBT before when I was younger, in like year 6 or something like that. So I do know it, but I've had to like relearn everything. And yeah, I'm still on my beta blockers because, to be honest, until I feel like I don't need them, then I'm just going to keep taking them. I only take one a day and it's only 40 milligrams, I think it is. So it just like helps me to focus a lot more throughout the day, especially when I'm working, as I don't want it to interfere then. But anyway, let's get on with what I have learned and what I did throughout my CBT course. I have a pack here which every time we went into the sessions, we'd get given a handout and we'd get given a questionnaire. So the questionnaire is every week we'd have to fill it out, and it's the same questions, well, sort of questions anyway. And you'd have to like rate yourself, not yourself, but rate how you're feeling and things like that each week. And then at the end of it all, they see how your progress has been and if you need any more, if they think that you need any more help and things like that. But again, I'll get onto that at the end of the video. So let's open this pack up and see what I did. Okay, so session 1. I was so nervous that day. Oh, it was horrible. I didn't know what to expect. but then I knew that everyone was in the same kind of boat as me, and we were all in there for the same reason, basically. It was a group session, and I was expecting, let's say, 5 to 10 people, but when I walked in, it seemed like there was 20 or 30 odd people, to be honest, and I really didn't think that CBT group session would be for me, as they wouldn't be able to help me specifically. They wouldn't understand what I'm going through and things like that. But yeah, anyway, on the first session we were literally just going through what different types of anxiety that there are, and what it is and stuff like that, although I already know what it is. And one of these, which I thought was actually really good for me, was this vicious cycle of anxiety, which looks like this. It's a vicious circle, as we call it, and it can start from anywhere. So there's like things that are triggering situations for your anxiety, but basically what they're trying to say is that it can happen in any order. It doesn't have to start from a triggering situation, because you wouldn't necessarily know what that situation is at the time. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. I did do one of my own at the end, and one thing that Healthy Minds and the CBT course really wants to push, if you know, kind of thing, is setting goals for yourself. So it's not just any goals, it's SMART goals, they call it. So you've got to make your goals as specific as possible. That's one thing that I was struggling on, because there's so many things I could do, but again, that fear is just like, I don't know, I don't think I've still managed to do those goals. But mine were to make a phone call to a company or a person that I don't know, and I gave myself a month to achieve this. I still haven't done it. Because I just hate answering phone calls, ringing people that I don't know. I have to have what I'm going to say written out. Because again, I think it's the fear of not knowing what to say. Okay, so my second goal was to go shopping by myself, and I gave myself a week to achieve this, and again I still haven't done it, not by myself. I always go shopping with Tim, my boyfriend, or just family, but I haven't been by myself for a very long time, because again, it's like, what if I have a panic attack while I'm in the shop on my own? I don't have Tim to say, or any members of my family saying you're going to be alright. Even though they're a phone call away, it still wouldn't be the same. My third goal is to go a day at work without asking my family for reassurance. Now that is a major thing, and I gave myself a month to achieve this, just because I used to. So if I was like feeling worried at work, not with what I was doing, just, I don't know, I suppose as I'm getting on with my work, my head's like going round about every single minute of the day, what's worrying me, what is on the news, what's worrying me, kind of thing. And I have achieved this because I haven't texted them at lunch, not saying that I'm if I'll be alright, because it was kind of getting into like a bit of a habit, asking them if I was going to be alright. So that was session 1. That was quite long-winded actually. It was a lot to take in, but then we reached session 2, and this week I think was my favourite week. I thought the negative thoughts I was having of like the last session, like, oh, it's not going to be for me and things like that, it's not going to work out for me, turned around in this week, because we were thinking of ways to reduce anxiety and everything like that, and how to notice the first signs of anxiety. We were getting to know each other a bit more in the group as well, which was better. And it's just explaining about your fight or flight responses, the link between the physical symptoms and your thoughts. And this is the main thing I always think when I'm having like a little bit of a worry. This is the main thing I think of now, is this anxiety curve. So you start off here and you feel like really stressed out and anxious, so your anxiety level increases and you keep thinking it's not ever going to come down, but that anxiety has reached its peak and it will start to come back down again. But it does feel like it's never ending. It's like there's no way out when you're having that anxiety attack. So every time I'm thinking, oh, maybe this is like my peak now, and then I'll be coming back down again and focusing on my breathing and stuff like that to help me. And this is when we focused on relaxation techniques. So there were two types. One was the breathing exercise, where you can count in for 7 seconds and breathing out for 11. But when I was doing this in the course, I couldn't reach 7. I was a bit panicky still, and I could only reach about 3 and then breathe out for about 6, 7. So I was taking shallow breaths and getting worked up. But the next one, that's called diaphragmatic breathing. I think I said that right. But the next one was PMR. It's progressive muscular relaxation, and I think this will work for me. It's where you clench like your hands or something like that, or any part of your body, and you've got to clench for so long and then slowly relax them. And yeah, and the more you do it, the more you realise actually how much you're tensing. And I do tense a lot. I tense my jaw, I tense my shoulders and my lower back. Yeah, I've got to get into a bit more of a routine to practice that a lot more. And we also got given a relaxation CD, which I still need to listen to, but it has a man just explaining things on here, I think. So that's all good. Session 3 got you thinking a bit more, as you had to think of what was a negative automatic thought and different kind of unhelpful thinking styles that there are. And there are literally loads of thinking styles. I won't go through them, but a lot of them, as we were reading through it, I thought, that's me. That's what I do a lot of. You have to kind of like put your thoughts on trial, like a bit of a court case and things like that, to see what other, so say a negative thought. So one of my examples was, if I was on the tube train in London and that it was really busy, one of my negative thoughts would be, what if something bad happens? I need to get out, it's too busy and I feel dizzy and scared. So you had to include a belief rating with how serious you thought that those thoughts were. You had to think of evidence to support the thought and evidence against it, your new belief rating, and an alternative thought. Now this is what I did. I didn't do this for and against because I didn't quite get it, but I thought of an alternative thought to the thought that I was having before, if that makes sense. So my alternative thoughts were, I don't have long on this train. That sounds good, doesn't it? I don't have far to go on this train. People will start getting off and it will quieten down, and that I will be safe. You had to think a lot in that session. So session 4 was about like managing your worries and catching them at the right time and focusing on something else. So again, they wanted you to set out like a worry time. So instead of worrying about things every minute of the day, push that thought away if you can and come back to it later on. Not just before bed, but set a time for yourself and things like that. I didn't think that that would help me because I do struggle pushing my thoughts away. But yeah, there's that. Session 5 was thinking about helpful and unhelpful coping techniques, strategies, and about avoidance. Now I do a lot of avoiding. I won't answer phone calls, I won't answer the door to a postman sometimes unless it's really important. I won't go to, I struggle going to the doctors or the dentist, for example. I just try and put things off. I won't read emails, or if I'm worried about one of these texts, like getting a reply, stuff like that. And what we did was what they called a graded exposure. So we had to work in groups for this, and actually by this time the group was getting smaller and smaller, and there was about 7 people, which was great for me because I prefer smaller groups. But yeah, we had to get into groups, and we got given an individual who is avoiding opening post or checking emails, and we had to make really small steps of what to work up to like not avoid something. Okay, so my camera just turned off then. Don't know why. Maybe because I was recording for about half an hour. What I was saying was we had to write down our key techniques that we thought we had learnt the most from the course. And it was about maintaining progress with things that you've learned over the sessions. And there's a graph saying people expect after the course that things will just keep going up like that, but in actual fact it will just be, you'll still be going up and on the right track, but you may have some like lapses, as you may call them, which you learn from, and hopefully you won't get a relapse and start all over from the bottom. And it was also about learning about my early warning signs, so what I would notice first when I get a worry. So first of all, I would breathe really fast and shallow. I didn't feel like I was breathing properly. And yeah, to make an example, so I would then start to hyperventilate, and the action that if I do feel like I'm breathing fast and shallow, is to practice my breathing techniques that we learnt in the relaxation. We would have to set my future goals, so a short term in the next week, medium term in the next 6 weeks, and long term 6 to 12 months. I'm going to try and think of some goals right now. Let's go. My short term in the next week will be to... So I've got one from the example which I thought is me anyway, so why not use it? So this is to talk to my friends and family about how they can best support me and not reinforce my safety behaviours. Now, we talked about safety behaviours in one of the other sessions, and it was about how I always bring out a water bottle because when I worry I drink a lot of water. So, well, not necessarily that, but I would also seek reassurance by texting friends and family so they can stop with that kind of thing, like giving me excessive reassurance, because deep down I know, and I think that they know better, kind of thing. So that's my short-term goal. Okay, my medium-term one in the next 6 weeks is maybe by reducing my medication slowly. Maybe. I mean, I'm not on a lot to start with, I don't think. 40 milligrams isn't that much, and I'm only taking 1 a day. Okay, this is really hard, isn't it? Okay, and another one for the 6 weeks is to go shopping by myself. I've got to do it. My long-term goal is, okay, I really want to go away to a nice country. I really want to go away to America again. I loved Florida, but that is a massive goal. I don't know how I did it in the first place. Like, me and Tim flew on our own, and I am not good in the plane. So if I can manage that, I can literally manage anything. Even if it's not America, I'd just like to maybe just start off by going to France or Spain or somewhere a bit closer, so I'm not the other side of the world. But I do just want to get away, forget about all my worries and everything like that. So that was like my update for the CBT sessions. I know I did go into it a little bit, but I wanted to explain what we did and how I felt through each session. So again, from the very first session, I thought that this wasn't for me. I thought everyone was in that room, and it just felt a bit claustrophobic and things like that. Like, they're not going to focus on my problems, they're not going to listen to me. But as the sessions got on, I didn't personally, I know I should have done, but I didn't answer any questions that they had. I didn't call out like other people were, to like telling them about their problems and things like that. But that's just the way I am. Like in school, I never put my hand up really to answer a question. So, but other people had similar things that they were experiencing that was happening with me. Healthy minds aren't there to help you personally. It's to give you the right tools to get yourself back on the right track. And that's what I'm going to focus and try and do. And it worked before, so why can't it work again? I'm sure I'll get there in time. I just have to keep practicing everything. And obviously I'll keep everyone updated with how things were going. But I definitely do recommend going to see Healthy Minds or your doctor. Anyone if you're experiencing the same thing as me. Because it feels better to talk about it and not just keep it all to yourself. I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you kind of understood a bit about how everything is gone and everything is slowly getting there. If you have any questions, then please leave your comment down below and I will do my best to answer them. And if you want to, just follow me on Twitter, which is just Kim Chapman 96, and you can DM me on there if you have any personal questions or anything like that. If you have liked this video, then please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll keep you updated. So I'll see you next time, which will be in my vlog. Bye guys!